Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so it's the day after the Lakers played the Golden State Warriors, fourth game of the preseason, and it was one of the ones that we'd love to burn the tape on, to be honest with you. I don't think too many people were happy with that game and listening to just everyone who had something to say about it. There's still a lot of people I have yet to listen to. Most of the time it's hard to get to everybody, but I got a general feel for what the energy was, and I think most people just thought the game was very sloppy. I've heard that it was mentioned that the Lakers reverted back to old ways in certain things, bad transition defense. But I actually thought that, and I said this in my reaction, that we kind of did some things that I thought wasn't like the old Lakers. And maybe if we would have did some things like the old Lakers, particularly scoring in the paint and being less intentional on getting threes up, maybe we would have been a better team for what we were faced with. Obviously, you didn't see Anthony Davis played a full game, and as good as he was playing, he could have very well probably, carried us to a victory just off of the sheer nature of him playing so well and the Golden State Warriors having no answer for him. So in the regular season, that game probably doesn't go that way because you're going to see more of the starters. But just in general, it wasn't fun to watch, to be honest with you. I think for me, some of the luster was stolen from the fact that we just kind of phased Quincy Olivari out of the equation. I've heard different people's theory on why that was the case. Some people think it's because the Lakers are trying to find a way to keep him, and maybe if they don't play him as much, maybe people will kind of like just leave him alone since we have him on the Exhibit 10 contract. Maybe other teams won't poach him, I guess is what the theory was. I mean, it's reasonable. I guess it's a positive spin on what I was looking at. That's not the way I looked at it and saw it, though. I saw it more so as them phasing him out because he don't fit the political picture that the Lakers are trying to push forward. And I was listening to Ticket TV. He kind of had that same point of view. So I don't know. So, everybody has their own reasons for what they think the Lakers were doing there. But phasing out Quincy Olivari after he played as well as he did in the game before, I thought was a mistake. And really, at the end of the day, if you're going to move forward with a player that isn't playing as good as maybe other guys, you do have to move the politics a certain way, so that you don't have yourself in a situation where it's just so blatantly obvious that you're playing guys who are not better than the guys you're playing. And that, if I were in the Lakers situation and I couldn't find my way out of it, there's no way to keep Quincy Olivari. Ain't no sense to keep continuing to display him to look so much better than the people you are keeping if you can't undo what's been done. And that's kind of the frustrating part of the situation. There's a lot of things working against us, and it's a lot of things within our circumstances working against us, to where even if we want to keep Quincy Olivari, it may not be necessarily possible to do that. And so how do you manage those circumstances if those are the parameters? You keep playing the guy? And so for me, I don't know what to say other than I don't like how this is set up. I think Quincy Olivari is, if given the right amount of minutes, if he continues to play the way that he played in the 9 minutes that we saw, he's probably one of our best bench players, to be honest with you. It probably should be a part of our regular rotation if he keeps looking like that. And I think that should take precedent over anything else. If a guy truly shows that he's just simply better than people, I don't really care about whether or not he's been here for 5 years, or if he's a rookie, or if somebody else ain't gonna like that on the team. And I don't care. I just want to play the best players and win. But unfortunately, that's not how this is set up. That's not how the NBA appears to be set up right now. It's set up in a very you scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of way. It's a lot of what you see on the floor has to do with people leveraging themselves a certain way, and representatives having favors being done for favors already committed to in the past, things that have already been done. So now you got to scratch my back, I scratch yours. A lot of that falls apart when you just simply take the best players who are playing the best and put them on the floor. This is why politics are set up so imbalanced as they are, because a lot of times people are paying back stuff that's already been done. So when you start looking at the Jenga game that is any political spectrum, you start finding those imbalances, and it's not really clear as to why certain things are in place. But when you start breaking down moves that have already been made and moves that have been promised to be made and other things that have to be agreed upon, you start understanding there's no way around some of this other than people breaking agreements in order for things to line up the way that the layman would otherwise expect for them to. And so that's why I'm not a fan of just the political spectrum in general. And sometimes there's no way to avoid it, but just the same, it would be great if it were, so that we can see the best players on the floor at a given moment outplaying people that they're clearly better than. And sometimes the political matrix, so to speak, has glitches in it. And this is one of those glitches. This is clearly a glitch in the matrix. Clearly we're not supposed to be seeing this. Clearly we're not supposed to see Quincy Olivari run circles around most of our players in a short spurt of time. He's supposed to come out there, be regular, brick some shots, sit down, and easily be cut. That's what he's supposed to be doing, so that everything can fall in line with what it is they expect for us to go along with. But that's not what's happening. And if the Lakers want to continue to be seen as an integrity-based organization, for which they've done a lot to kind of deteriorate in their political intentions, they have got to find a way to evolve through this conundrum without looking so poor. If the guy played excellent ball for 9 minutes, you got to put him back on the floor. You got to have some wiggle room within what it is that you're trying to do, so that you don't look so blatantly corrupt. And that's a part of this spectrum that I don't think a lot of people have figured out how to do. I think they understand it needs to be done. They just don't know how to do it without messing up the agreements in place for their politics or whatever. But like this shows everybody just how corrupt your politics ultimately are. And then from there can undo a lot of other things that need to stay in place in order for you to continue to move around. You see what I'm saying? It's like, okay, yeah, that agreement got broken, but this is exposing us. And we don't want to be exposed for the grand scheme of what it is we're trying to keep going. We don't want bad press for things that people aren't even supposed to be seeing. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you gotta tell whoever's looking for their needs to be met that they're gonna have to be postponed for a minute while we handle the circumstance of covering up the exposure. And that should be a loss that everybody's willing to take to keep the game going. I really believe that when it comes to politics in many ways, basketball or beyond, these are the type of things that you got to be able to, in real time, amend to in order for the big game to just be able to just exist without the presence of so much protest. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what I got to say in regards to the Lakers specifically, but also in everything else that this would apply to. Sometimes people just got to say, yo, we all got to take a loss so that we can just have a peaceful space from which to do what it is we're doing. And if we're not willing to sacrifice that, then we need to get out the game entirely, because that's part of the game. That's part of the game. That's part of making the political game itself one that can be played without the presence of disruptive outsiders looking in and not being pleased with what they see. So I don't know, man. I look at this situation, I say, man, the Lakers are letting things go down to where people like me, who don't know what the hell all the politics are, who don't know why things are done a certain way, all we see is we know damn well somebody's playing well. We want to see him in our uniform, and you're telling me he can't play. But you're going to throw Bronny James out there. You're going to throw Cam Reddish out there. I know damn well this dude better than both of them. And he's probably killing them in practice every day. The whole team know he better than them. But because Cam Reddish is represented by so-and-so and Bronny James is related to so-and-so, this is what we're doing. But no, it's bad. Look, it's a bad press. Now you got me mad at you. You don't need me mad at you because that's disruptive to your overall game. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I get it. I get it more than I let on. But at the same time, it's like if they can't work this aspect into what they're doing, then they're still going to be taking losses unnecessarily, man. The game is going to eventually get exposed for being as trash as it is as it pertains to what they're doing politically. It doesn't work any damn way if you can't do it in a peaceful space. If it's going to be 1 million people protesting because of what you're doing politically, then damn it, you ain't going to be able to get the support you need to have a peaceful space to do your politics. So, like, let's evolve here, people. And I tell you, man, the loss that everybody should be willing to take in regards to these type of things is the necessary need to keep balancing what you're doing. Meaning, don't be unfair. Cut and dry, don't be unfair. Bronny has to be better than the other guy in order to get the minutes. If he holds up his end of the bargain, then the agreement of the politics can fall into place. But if he's trash, then that hurts us on the back end any damn way. You see what I'm saying? And that has to be worked into the equation of the game you're playing. People aren't ready to make the sacrifices necessary for their game not to look terrible. That's the reality of it. And that's a metaphor and a reality for what we're talking about. This boy's out there stinking it up. I don't give a damn if you guaranteed his daddy he could play. The boy is trash. And Quincy Olivari's kicking behind. So what are we talking about? We're going to throw him out there because it's an agreement? It's just like I said about another conversation in a different way in regards to the same team. What does it look like to support somebody? If you're going to throw somebody out there to be embarrassed and look bad, what makes you think that's a better path for them? Well, we agreed to give him minutes. Yeah, but he ain't ready for those minutes. So is that really a blessing to him? No. He out there looking terrible. He's out there getting embarrassed. He's out there being the poster boy for what's wrong with politic basketball. That's not the dream. That's not what he told his daddy he wanted to do. And I'm telling you, LeBron James, when you promise your son he can be in the NBA, and he says, okay, let's go forward with this, I promise you this is not what he was signing up for. When he said, yeah, this ain't what he had in mind. To have people on the team hate him, not because of his own merit, but because of the politics surrounding him, that's the worst feeling in the damn world. I can't win people over not because of who I am, but because of what people are doing around me that I have no control over. So just by default, I got hate coming my way, even though I'm really cool with these people. They're going to always hate me because I'm always taking something from them, and it ain't my choice to do so. That's a horrible thing. What you signing your boy up for? What you signing him up for, fam? And then you get to a point where you hear people say, well, LeBron James is a narcissist and don't care nothing about his son necessarily, just care about himself. This is all about his legacy and how it looks. I don't know LeBron James, but what I can say is there's evidence to that. You can't shake that off. I can pretend I don't see that angle, but the reality is if it add up, damn it, it adds up. We got to do things that don't allow that to add up if it ain't true. So people like Ticket TV don't come around telling everybody you ain't got no morals and no standards and no code or whatever the hell he's saying. That's a narrative. Problem is it adds up. That's what I'm telling people, man. There's a situation like that in my own life. Obviously on a lesser scale, but I'm in a space where I wanted my family to leave me a condo. I wanted that because I was living there. My mother had just passed away. I was struggling through the circumstances I was in. But my family made a real responsible decision based on the realities of owning property and what it takes to keep the thing going and how much time they felt they had left to be responsible for those things and how little qualified I was to hold on to those things. They didn't let me have it. I wasn't happy about that. They told me initially that they would give it to me, which really made me feel away. But the older I get, the more I realize how little I would have done with that property. You understand what I'm saying? Looking at where my life is right now, nothing good would have come of me owning that thing. I didn't know the first thing about keeping it going. Now, there are a lot of things that could have changed between being given that property and then making me become more responsible for it. But there were still things that I did not know, that I had no interest in learning at the time. And if you look at how my decision making played itself out over the next 8 to 10 years, I know they were right when they didn't give it to me. It's called being more mature and understanding what you're setting somebody up for, and what goes wrong with what it is that you ultimately upholding. I've heard someone say something about this recently. You know, people, wealthy owners of businesses, leaving their kids the business, and the kid doing trash with the business, and the business going belly up in 5 years. Yeah, the kid was quote unquote entitled to it. Might have been his birthright, but he wasn't right for having it. He would ruin it. You got to hand it to people who are qualified so the business can succeed. So that everything that daddy put together doesn't fall apart. This ain't too far away from that. And Bronny, you want to put Bronny on the NBA basketball floor, but he ain't an NBA basketball player. And he has to develop into becoming one, but you want to give him the moment to look bad out there so that everybody can say they did what they were supposed to do as it pertains to upholding their own side of things, you know, their own politics, their own leverage or whatever. Grown-ups making decisions for the kid, throwing him out there for stuff he ain't ready for. And he takes the scrutiny. He takes the brunt of the trash that comes with that type of reputation. He gets called the worst player in the world 4 games into the preseason. It's like, nah, man, if y'all just did with that kid what y'all was supposed to do and not screw other people over so he can get on the basketball court, then he has a better path to feeling good about what he's doing. Because he's not taking nothing from nobody else. Nobody has to look at him and say, I can't stand this dude's presence because he's in this situation taking righteous moments from somebody who earned it. And he gets the time to develop properly, get it out of the mud like he's supposed to. You know, I heap praise upon LaMelo Ball's father, LeVar Ball, for sending him to Lithuania. For all the stuff that he may have done wrong in regards to promoting Lonzo, he got it right with his son LaMelo because he sent him to Lithuania, let him get it out the mud. And now he's in a great position to be a star for a small market team for which he was likely to be drafted to any damn way. Now, if he would have had that kid stay all his time in LA, never getting it out the mud in Lithuania, never dealing with the humblest spaces of Lithuania, him getting taken on by the Charlotte Hornets could have been horrible for him as it pertains to how he handled it. But because you put him through that training mode, so to speak, of living in a foreign country, having to deal with whatever came with that, he was more likely ready for what it is that he was actually going in for. This is the opposite of what we're doing with Bronny. Bronny coming in, he ain't ready. And you give him the Lakers? You put him on the Lakers? It'd have been hard for him anywhere in the league, but you put him on the biggest stage in the league. Ill-prepared, taking minutes away from hard-working players who are outplaying him, who are working harder than him, who obviously wanted more than him. And he's supposed to what? Walk around there with his chest held high? A 20-year-old kid can walk around with his chest held high amongst his peers who hate him because he's taking his opportunities from them? What you think that's supposed to do for his development? See, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about, man. And you think that was the dream? That's the NBA dream? To be thrown out there to brick a million shots while a guy like Quincy Olivari sitting on the bench? Knowing everybody know damn well he should be on the floor. Everybody. Whole damn world watching this crap know he should be out there. You think that's Bronny's dream? To be despised by his own damn teammates? I mean, it's just like, man, come on, man. At some point in time, I'm looking at the parents here. LeBron and Mrs. James. This is not a good situation for your son, man. And I'm not saying he should be ousted out of the league, but that 4-year contract, that should not be in place, taking opportunities away from other people who can likely earn it. He needs to be somewhere developing his skill level to get to where he's at, where he's actually thrown into, so he can play the game that he's supposed to be playing at a level he can be proud of, and so that he can actually outwork certain people who he would then be better than. You can't just throw him out there before he's ready and expect for him to be able to deliver, going up against people who are. You see what I'm saying? That's not fair for him. At all. It's just not fair for the kid. And we get to sit up here and trash his name for not being, what, ready? He's not ready. You didn't put him out there to be ready. You never put him in a position to be competitive in the arena he's in. You just threw him out there because you had a right to do so, because you had the leverage to do so. That's not good for him. And I've been saying that long before this even came about. But now that we're here in the preseason, he's struggling like this. And we got this Quincy Olivari kid coming out of nowhere, not only winning over the fans, but winning over his own damn teammates who are rooting for him. And he can't get an opportunity, but we see Bronny out there struggling. All of this is bad. All of it's backwards. All of it's lacking ability to read the room. I'm telling y'all, you're not reading the room, man. If y'all to do things the right way, you get the results you're looking for. Put him in the G League, put him on the floor, and everything settles from there. Then people are where they need to be, doing what they need to be doing to earn what it is they need, man. That's it. You let the politics do things backwards and have people skipping steps and knocking people down when they deserve to be up, you're going to have an imbalance that's going to tear the thing up from the ground down. It's going to go straight to hell. And that people have so much responsibility but so little wisdom in regards to this. It's frustrating. Y'all got it all, but ain't doing nothing good with it. Ain't doing nothing good with it, man. And so that's my thing with this whole Laker thing, man. Shame on everybody who has anything to do with this, bro. If there was no presence of Quincy Olivari, then it wouldn't make as much difference. But that he's in place doing what he's doing, and y'all still doing this, it makes it worse. And I'm not coming off of it because Quincy Olivari is a Laker, and I want to see my players succeed. See what I'm saying? I'm not a LeBron James, just this is all about him. Ain't nothing about nobody, man. It's about the Lakers. And as I've told you guys a million times when it comes to this team, everybody on it can be gone. Leave me with nothing but the colors. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? You can gut the whole damn thing. Leave me with nothing but the colors. Because I'm still going to be a Laker fan regardless who's in the uniform. I've seen this uniform have so many people wearing it. The turnover on this team has been ridiculous. Coaching, players, stars. Everything, man. We've changed buildings since I became a Laker fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here for any one specific person's betterment, so to speak. I'm not. I'm here to root the team on. Top to bottom, regardless who's wearing it. And if you're going to have my whole franchise, the franchise that I've been rooting for my entire life, revolving around one guy, and whether or not he feels like he's getting his just deserves as the most important person, that's just a metaphor for what's wrong with the world right now. People thinking they're most important, so therefore they get whatever they want, and everybody else has to go by the wayside. It's just reinforcing what's wrong, man. Not necessarily being a leader as one of the most important brands in sports. It's backwards. We've dwindled ourselves down to being low. Whether people want to look at it that way or not, it's a low way of doing things. And I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it. And so that's what I want to say, man. It's a dark day for a Laker fan like myself, man, who prides himself on seeing the best talent on the floor, representing my team, going out there helping us win. I'm not seeing that. What I'm seeing is politics, man. People running around thinking they're the most important thing in the world for whatever good reason or bad reason. And then from there, throwing crap out there they want to see whether it has any success attached to it or not. It's not good, man. It's not good. And I think a good portion of the internet is telling you the same thing. It's not good. LeBron James was not gifted his talent. You know what I mean? He earned that. He was given that by God, so to speak. It wasn't handed in by man. A lot of people who want to engage in this type of politics are not special. They were gifted what they have by other men, people from their family, people, you know, they found their way scheming through the politics itself, upholding all the worst parts of politics to rise themselves to the top of it. They were not special. LeBron James is special. You strip away all this crap, and he's still one of the most athletic, powerful beings the Lord has ever created. You see what I'm saying? A lot of the people who want to prop up this type of politics, they don't have none of that going on there. That's not who they actually are. They have to use the politics itself to give them the guise of being special, because they don't have all these God-given gifts. You know what I'm saying? They want to be gods of the earth. You see what I'm saying? I respect this a lot less being upheld by somebody like LeBron James. That's basically what I'm saying. The super talented and the super gifted should not be upholding petty politics, because you don't have to be insecure in the presence of your power. You have it whether people like it or not. You have it where people are watching or not. That's the reality of it. No worries. That's the reality of it. You have it whether they like it or not. You have it whether you're in the middle of the jungle or in the middle of the street. You have it whether you're in America or some other country. You have it no matter what. So why do you have to uphold the game of those who need to fake the funk? That's my thing. That's always my thing with the most talented behaving like they have to keep up the guise of politics. You don't. Because when the politics go away, you still the most powerful dude, you still the most talented dude or whatever it is. The naturally gifted don't have to do that crap. It's those who don't have that have to be propped up by this game that leaves people not getting their best. You can sit in the corner by yourself, get up and be the best player in the world. That's the privilege of actually being talented. That's the privilege of actually being great. You don't have to be insecure about it. You don't have to have people seeing things move a certain way so that the powerful can be seen upon you. You roll out of bed powerful. It's one of the things that frustrate me the most about what it is I'm seeing here. It's like, dog, this ain't some dude that just climbed his way up the political spectrum like a lot of people surrounding him have off of his back. This is somebody who's God gifted the best body for basketball ever created. The hell he got to do all this weird stuff for? He ain't got to do none of this. That's the insecure God complex guy's game. That's not your game. That's not what you could have been born at any time in the world and still would have been what you are. You could have played any sports you wanted to play and still been what you are. You were given something the rest of these people don't have. You ain't gotta act like that, bro. And that's the part that frustrates me. It's like, who the hell got in your head make you think you gotta play their game? You gotta play the elitist man's game. What? Why? Why you gotta do that? You jump higher, you faster, you see the game differently than all of them. You're more accurate, you're more durable. That's all the stuff that is in place, given to you by the grace of the one that created us all. You're proof that he exists. And you playing the man's God game. I gotta put my son in here. I gotta do it my way. I put my people in here. What is all of that, man? That ain't nothing. That's not, no. People who are actually special don't act like that. They don't have to, man. I'm just being honest. You don't have to act like that. That's not necessary. Your talent speaks for itself. You ain't got to open your mouth ever again. Your talent speaks for itself. And that is so rare. And a lot of times people who have that type of talent act like they got to behave like everybody else. It's crazy to me. You don't have to politic like that. Let a little dude who don't have any talent claw his way to the top of that game, man. You understand what I'm saying? Who, if he's sitting in the corner, can't even get a cat off of him type guy. That's who plays those type of games, because they don't have anything special about them other than to claw their way to the top of the damn game. Stand on the mountaintop and say, see, I'm powerful. See? No, nobody sees that. No. Sorry. A guy like LeBron James actually is powerful. He actually is talented. And he don't need to climb to the top of anything. He can do that from the bottom of the mountain. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I think it's brainwashing, to be honest with you. If I'm being honest with you, people just get in people's heads early in life and say, this is what we do. Don't see nothing wrong with it. When you're in hell, do as devil does. You know, like literally. No, I do none of that. I don't have to do none of that, because no matter where I'm at and where I go, I'm still this way, and this is better than anything you could display. You don't have what I got. I'm this way. Well, let y'all play those games. Y'all gotta play them games. I don't have to do that. Y'all move as the talent tells you. The talent is what determines whether or not what they're doing is worth watching for any of us. It takes LeBron James to be on display in front of their cameras for anybody to actually give a damn about what they're watching. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of them running around, and that ain't nothing to watch. You understand what I'm saying? That's nothing to watch. Let the owners want to play basketball. See how much they get. It's their game, right? Y'all want to hand them the trophy first? Even though these players running around blood, sweat, and tears, you get the guys who pay the bills the trophy first when the championship is run, right? Cool. Let's watch them all play basketball against one another and see how many of us going to actually watch that. Very few. It's not going to be good watching that. Why? Because they're not basketball players. They're not the product itself. They could take their money, invest it in any damn thing when they feel like it. It doesn't matter. They're just the money. That's the point. They're literally just the money. If they want to start getting and investing in the music business, they can be the top of that. You can hand them a Grammy first for that. If they want to invest in bombs bursting in air, they can invest in that. Some of them do. If they want to invest in the top of the movie business, then you can give them the Oscar first. Like the owner should not be given so much precedence just because he plays the bills. But because leverage and because of the insecure game of politics, the only way he's going to be considered special is if people give him the precedent that's provided to someone who is special, even though he's not doing nothing. He ain't out there running around. We don't care about him. We're not watching him. If we have the opportunity to fast forward the time when he's talking, we're going to fast forward that. Don't care what he's talking about, fam. Unless he's standing for the right things. You know what I mean? If he's a good guy, of course we care. But like, just in general, because of the presence of being the owner and therefore we give him the trophy, hell no, you don't get none of that. You ain't play no ball. You ain't out there on the blood, sweat, and tears. You ain't the coach putting together the plays. You ain't doing none of that. You're just the money. You can put that money anywhere you want to and get precedent and credence and celebration for yourself anywhere you go. That ain't nothing, bro. That's trash. That's the politics of a game that is not special. I'm telling you. That's an unspecial man's game. That's exactly how I'm labeling it. An unspecial man's game. Where you get to stand on the backs of the talented, pay the bills, however he got that damn money, pay the bills, and get all the praise for doing absolutely nothing. That's who LeBron James is trying to be. He's trying to act like them. Like, what the hell are you acting like them for? I just wanted to vent that out, man. It needs to be vented. It needs to be said in that way, because to be honest with you, I don't think everybody's in a position to where they can be as free as to speak that way. There are a lot of people that may have some similar thoughts or similar views, but they can't say it because they're going to be phased out. They're going to be phased out. And they can't be phased out for what it is they're trying to accomplish. I don't care about being phased out because I'm not knocking on the damn door. I'm doing what I want to do. Literally. I made up my mind a long time ago I don't have to play other people's games. That I'm talented enough to do it my way, and that the measures of success are based on what it is me and my God think is best for me, not necessarily what man thinks for me. So I really don't, I'm not aspiring to be where they're at, because I think a lot of what it is they're doing is, I look at it this way. And a lot of what it is they're handing over is cursed or poisonous in a lot of cases, especially if they're doing things they have no business doing on the back end of whatever it is they're trying to prop up. So for me, it's like, nah, I'm not worried about not getting access to the Lakers. No. My truth is more valuable to them than their access is to me. Because I'm the only one that's going to tell them the damn truth about what it is I see. While everybody else trying to kiss their butt so they can have access. They making mistakes they need truth to help them not make. That's where I come in. I'm a tool to them. Free of charge, outside of the ramifications of politics or leverage or any of that. I'll get mine in a different direction, in a different way. I don't need anything that they're giving me at all. Anything that they would otherwise offer me for being a yes man. I don't want it. Because I know better. Just because the world around me don't know better doesn't necessarily mean I have to know differently. I know better. That ain't nothing to want. Being a truth teller and a tool for the elite to understand what it is that they're not actually getting from anywhere else is much more valuable, age much better. Much better. Because they ain't the only ones that's listening. There's a lot of people who are aspiring for a lot of different things who need to know the truth that ain't going to be given to them if they continue to climb the ladders of the unspecial person's measures, what it is that they think is supposed to be done. They're politic games. You ain't going to get the truth there because it don't benefit anybody in the game to tell you the truth. Or so they think. So they think. The game they're playing has a lot of evolution to do, and that's what they're going to find out. It actually does benefit a lot of them to be more honest and less what's the word? It's on the tip of my tongue. More truthful and less popular. That's what I'm saying. That popularity stuff, that don't age very well. A lot of people are popular for the wrong reasons. And a lot of what it is they're receiving is fake. Fake love, fake hate. It ain't real. That popularity is based on things that they're not actually good at or not actually able to uphold if the balance of things were actually in place. That's not real. It's a facade. It's not even real love. So for me, it's like, nah, I don't care for that either. I don't care for that at all. When you look at what Bronny's position is right now, as we discussed it, a young fella is son of the most powerful and popular sports figure alive today, arguably. And his reality, as far as I can tell, would be pretty good from a gifted life perspective. You got money, you got a beautiful home that you grew up in, you don't know of desperation and all of that. But once you start to walk into the arenas that ultimately you're due to walk into with your privilege, suddenly the perspective is not as welcoming as ultimately you hope it would be. I don't envy that, because I've been rocked to sleep by privilege and then furthermore thrown into some uncomfortable positions. I don't wish for that. That's not what I would want for myself. If that's what comes with having a silver spoon, it's poison on that damn spoon. I don't want to drink out of it. You see what I'm saying? That's nothing to want. People are screaming his name, yay, 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 for something that he did not do yet. He had a whole arena screaming his name just because of who his daddy is. And then he got a whole fleet of people on the internet crapping his name because of who his daddy is. Not giving him opportunities to have the perspective of a basketball player who's growing himself into being the best player he can be. Going through the process of what his talent level should allow for him to experience because of who his daddy is. He's being cheated out of all the real stuff that pertains to the perspective that he's dreamed for. He wants to be a basketball player, apparently. Although I wonder if he even wants to be a basketball player. He's starting to remind me of one of those people who've been forced into a marriage because they were rich, and you got to be married to this person because we're rich. And And we got to keep up the guise of being with good families. We got to be attached to good families. And this guy's grandfather did business with that guy's grandfather. So we want to keep it in the family because it's responsible to keep our businesses together. So you got to marry his granddaughter. That's what this crap is starting to look like to me. I don't think Bronny even want to do any of this anymore. And I'm starting to think that all this was a lie. This was never his dream. He's trapped. That's what his effort is showing me. That he has more in common with those type of people than he probably does with anybody on that damn basketball team. That's what his effort is showing me. And people disregarding what's best for him, that's exactly what it's showing me. That's what the tea leaves read. That this kid ain't got no more control over his life than any other person in those type of circumstances. And as long as he don't want to get cut off by daddy, he better do what daddy says. That type of crap. That's what this looks like, LeBron. And so that's what I'm saying, man. I don't know. Maybe I don't even make this a Laker video since I've had so much to say that's not a Laker aligned with. But I'm gonna vent about what it is I'm seeing here. I don't like elitist bull crap. I don't like unspecial people's games. And they start standing on the backs of people who are special and then trying to mold them into being what it is that ultimately they are. That's garbage. And that's exactly what I'm sensing is happening there. And people like Bronny, second generation in the process, get the worst of it. Because they got to uphold the cap instead of being whoever they want to be. Got all the resources in the world to be the best whatever he wants to be, but he has to be this. It's garbage. It's been garbage. It's garbage anytime anybody ever has to go through that. And I wonder if Jeannie's much different. Her father was the owner of the basketball team. Now she got to be owner of the basketball team. Does she even want to be owner of the freaking basketball team? Or was it that her brother sucked so bad at it that he's going to run the damn thing into the ground? So in turn, she hands the team over to some people like this who are doing whatever the hell they want to do politically. It ain't even got to make no sense. They ain't got to measure correctly. So she can actually go off and live her life the way she wants to. Only to come back around and answer a few questions about the situation and then go back into her regular life. She's reminding me of what it is I've been talking about here. The more I think about it, the less I feel like she even want to do this. She more like Bronny James, you know what I'm saying? Literally. It's trash, man. Rich people got to stop doing that to their kids. I'm just going to be honest with you. Stop doing that to your children. Stop doing that to your kids, bro. And when they spiral out of control and take all types of drugs and do all types of weird stuff, try to identify however they want to just so they can get out from under that trap, or they end up being horrible human beings in the world, treating everybody like crap because they don't feel like they have any power in their own lives, it's y'all fault for doing it to them. And I get it, maybe you can't trust people outside of your family, but believe me, man, you're not inspiring a whole lot of trust within the people that you have control over in these situations within your family when you force them into circumstances they don't want to be in there for. So a lot of people mad at Dwayne Wade for allowing his son to be his daughter, essentially, and all of this and that and third. But what does it look like when you force him to be something he don't want to be? And a lot of people may have the theory that this is also along the lines of some type of agreement to force him into being something he doesn't want to be. I don't know the truth, but from where I'm sitting, this is what the kid wanted to be. What does he look like for suppressing the kid and telling him he has to wear a suit every day? Telling him you better date this girl, you're gonna marry her. That, like, what does that look like? I don't know, man. But in the presence of so many examples of people forcing their kids to do stuff they don't want to do, I personally think what he's doing is refreshing. It may not be what I would otherwise wish for myself if I were in his shoes, but that he's handling it very well, and this is who his child wants to be, and he's supporting that. I think this is probably better along the lines of what it is I think is right than whatever the hell else we're talking about. I just want to tell people that. I may not necessarily be able to relate or agree or whatever the case with the choices, but in supporting your child and doing whatever they want to do when you have a silver spoon to hand them, and maybe in your reputation or what's best for your legacy, maybe they do something else other than what it is they want to do, and fully supporting them, you can't be the worst guy in the world. Because this is what happens when we continue that, guys. People start doing this crap to their kids because they're afraid of what everybody else is going to say and not approving of the choices of the child and the support of the child from the parent. You can't have it both ways, people. And the problem with a lot of it is the pressure that comes from outside sources. But people having so much judgment upon stuff like that. You should force him to be a man. Oh, and then the kid ends up miserable and ends up unaliving himself because of it. Or taking a bunch of drugs or whatever the hell. Or misusing the power and the money. Throwing his father by the wayside when he gets to a point where he has to put him in a home. Now he's unaliving his own father at age 90 because he hated him when he was a young kid growing up without power. To be himself. Like these type of things, it's like what the world, in a lot of cases, who surveys all of this and critiques all of this, is part of the problem. Adhering to what people have to say can be a big part of the problem, especially when they don't have anything positive to offer to the situation to make people more at peace within their mental health. Your opinion about Zaya Wade contributes to the pressure for Dwayne to either support his child or neglect his child for not being what you want him to be. People get on Ghostface Killah because he don't necessarily accept his son for his choices like that, or get on Bootsy because he doesn't necessarily embrace his daughter's choices for stuff like that. So you would rather than suppress their child, have their child all unhappy, putting them in spaces that they're not best for, so that you can be at peace, random person on the internet, so that you can approve, since your approval means so much to them and obviously to yourself, that they're supposed to do away with the relationship that they have with their child so that you can be happy with the choices that are made in their situation. Like, the people in those situations need to stop allowing people outside of those situations to have so much of an opinion mattering in the choices that they make in those situations. And maybe that makes me a hypocrite for having so much to say about this. But if anything, I'm looking at it as liberating the person, whoever they are, that's underneath that nonsense. That's my opinion, is liberating them. Not allowing them to have to fall into spaces that don't fit their personality, that don't fit their DNA, so that other people can be in a space of approval from the outside looking in. That approval shouldn't matter as much as the space of mind and that relationship between daughter and son, or daughter and father, or whatever the case may be. Son and father, whatever that would be. That relationship is much more important than the approval of the wide public and the surrounding politics and whatever else people want to do in these situations. Whoever else they want to give credence to. So that's my point of view. I hope I'm productive in that. In regards to letting people know, hey man, I'm a person with an opinion. There's a lot of people out here with a lot of opinions. Some people just want to see you suffer, and their opinions are attached to that. Some people want to see you have bad relationships with your kids, and they're attached to that. Some people got their own demons they're trying to fight, and they're not having a good time doing that, so they want to see other people struggle with those demons, or whatever the case may be. People resent the fact that their own kids want to be something that they don't approve of, and they want to see you be in the same boat with them, so that your relationship with your child can be just as bad as their relationship with theirs, because they're not strong enough to support their child through the differences that they provide. This is that. Don't allow everybody's opinion like that when they're projecting their own frustrations onto your life because you're a celebrity. Mold how you treat your child, or mold how you align yourself, or whatever the case may be. You can't let those people push you into circumstances that aren't meant for the betterment of your family. If that means you don't force your son to be a basketball player, or force your kid to wear a certain type of clothing or whatever the hell, then that's what it is. If you want to support your kid as they make choices that maybe aren't popular, believe me, that relationship with that child is going to mean a lot more to you than any of these idiots out here talking whatever they're talking. I guarantee you that. And that's why I think Wade probably got it right. For better or for worse, he probably got it right. Because at the end of the day, he and his son, when it's all said and done, his son gonna have great things to say about him. That's what it really comes down to. And a lot of us who do things the opposite way, it ain't gonna be like that. That ain't gonna be the reality. So that's what I'm saying to y'all, man. I think I will make this a therapy session because it just ain't that Lakerish to me. But it just has everything to do with that Bronny James situation. It has everything to do with that, man. I don't think that kid really wants to play ball. I think he's being forced into it, guilt-tripped into it, and think he's going to disappoint not only Daddy, but everybody else in the Clutch organization if he don't just step up and put on this uniform and go play ball. I don't think he wants to do it. That's what these first 4 preseason games have shown me, that he don't really love it like it's being told he does, man. He don't. And people forcing him in there ain't gonna make him play no better, ain't gonna make him love it no more or no less. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong. But that's what it looked like, man. And if people want to start having more meaningful conversations with the people in their lives, they're gonna remove these people that they control from these circumstances that are not meant for them. I promise you, you'll be better off for it in the long run. Video 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.